Happy Saturday, everyone. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from today. My name is Bill Haga. I'm an executive loan officer with Rocket Mortgage Local. I always stress local because our local pricing is always a good 1% to 1.25% better than our home office there in Detroit, Michigan. Today, I want to welcome you to our virtual first-time homebuyer hyper local event. Today, we're traveling to Baldwin County, Alabama, where I have two special guests with me today, Miranda Baldridge and Cindy Stewart Phillips. They are both with Advantage Real Estate, and they're located in Baldwin County. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today?
Fabulous.
Pretty good.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So, as I tell everybody, Baldwin County, Alabama is my favorite place. I mean, it has my heart. We were down there for about 4 years, and it's just amazing. It's beautiful. The people were so nice. You have all the festivals, and I'm pretty excited today to show off your backyard and take a look at what we got going on down here in Baldwin County. So, first of all, Miranda, if we could, we'll just talk a little bit about, things that you do, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll pick up with Cindy, and then I'll finish off with myself. So go ahead. I'll let you start today.
All right. I'm Miranda Baldridge with Advantage Real Estate in Robertsville, Alabama, which is the center of Baldwin County. I service all of Baldwin County. The biggest cities, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, that's the most popular everybody hears about, which is the coastal beach area. I'm also licensed in Florida. I service Pensacola area, which is Escambia County, Florida. I've been in real estate 8 years. I'm also a broker, and I specialize in first-time home buyers to the point that I actually wrote a first-time home buyer book. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
That's awesome. All right. Next, we'll go ahead and go to Cindy. Cindy, if you could go ahead.
Yeah, Cindy, I'm with Miranda. I work with Miranda with Advantage Real Estate. I'm an associate broker, owner of the company. We've been in business as Advantage Real Estate since 2012. My husband and I started the business, added Miranda. Service the same area as Miranda. I don't have my Florida license. That's why I need her. We work together very well as a small team, a small group, brokerage, trying to help people. We can get more specific, I think, being a little bit smaller. I've been doing real estate off and on since 1988. So I've been in it a while, and I look forward to learning more with all the things you have coming up, Bill, with Rocket Mortgage.
Awesome. I love it. Now, let me tell you, ladies, so everyone out there, these are like two bosses in the area, okay? They've worked this area. They live in this area. They know this area. Their family and friends, everyone that they pretty much know is in this area, okay? So if there's anything that you need to know about this Baldwin County area, these are the two to contact, okay? Mary, if you go ahead and pull up my information. So like I always say, I'm from a small town in Indiana where everybody knows everybody. I mean, you do anything, out of line. When I was a kid, everybody would, didn't even have to be your parents. They'd grab a hold of you and yank a knot in your tail and then make sure they told your parents, by the time the day ended. So that's where I come from and where I get, my grounding. I do have a degree in business management and statistics. I went to Indiana State, got my degree there. I've been in this business for 23 years. Prior to this, I was a store manager for Lowe's Home Improvement Center, managing about 285 employees, and that's a lot of personalities. I've trained over probably a good 150 LOs in this business because once you become a top producer, management wants everyone to do exactly what you do in the office, so then they try to get you to be the trainer, and then when I did that, all it did was slow me down and cost me money. So I soon passed that off to somebody else and got out running again. I've been pretty much a top producer most of my career. We have an 11-year-old daughter who keeps me pretty young. As you can see, I do have some gray hair. I am at that 55-year age mark now. But she keeps me young. We're about to go into soccer, so I'm pretty excited about coaching her and watching her excel and do the things that she does. My family, we all love the outdoors. There's probably not much time you'll ever see us on the couch or just hanging out in the house. If it's shining and we can be out, we're outside doing something. So that's a little bit about all three of us in a nutshell. But more importantly, we want to dive into the whole process and the steps of buying a home. All right, ladies, we see this every day in our business. The very first thing that people want to do is find the house, right? They're online, they're looking. That's it. I've got to have that house. So then they're contacting you, and you're like, hello. Well, yes, the house is lovely. It's beautiful. Are you pre approved? And then it's like it goes silent,
Yep.
right?
Every
So
time.
every time. So when you're buying a house, it's always 100 times different than buying a vehicle. All right. A vehicle, you can just go in there, see if you get approved. You may even walk out that same day with a vehicle. Unfortunately, when you're buying a house, there's a lot more checks and balances in place, if you will, and there's a full process. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the process here as an open discussion. The first thing you really need to do as a first time home buyer or anyone buying a house, you need to complete a loan application. What that loan application is going to do is ask you a number of questions that kind of directs you down a path. So then, once we get at the end of the path, we know what program, we know what rate, we know everything that you're going to qualify for based off of that information in that loan application. Okay, your credit will be pulled because that's really the first thing that everyone's kind of graded for is your credit. So we go down as low as a 580 credit score for an FHA loan. And credit scores range anywhere from like 350, I saw, up to like 825, depending on which format you're using. They're coming out with all these new different formats now. But based off of what we use, we pull all three. In the beginning, we pull a soft credit report, so it doesn't have any harm to your credit. Because, right, I mean, we're checking, we're seeing what's going on. And I always encourage everyone to start this process normally about 6 months before you're really considering buying, just to make sure that you don't have any credit hiccups there that need to be fixed. Right, ladies, we see this all the time where someone has missed a payment or they don't even know what's reporting on the credit report. So this is the time to really get a nice education on how credit works. And credit should never stop you from buying a house. It's fixable. I mean, life's life. I mean, I'm an open book. I mean, when the housing market crashed, I mean, I went from almost 300,000 in income to 25,000 unemployment. So
Right.
when the market swings like that, I mean, we got to flex as well. So my credit took a beating during that time, but it's only about a 6 month process to really fix it. Now, if you got bankruptcies and things like that, it takes a little longer. But if you just have messed up credit, that's easy to fix. I
But don't let
personally
the,
have.
don't let
Go ahead.
bankruptcy discourage you, because I've been there too.
Yeah, I mean it's part of life, right?
Yep.
The health reasons. I mean, my gosh, you could lose a job because you got hurt,
Right.
and that right there alone can cause you to file a bankruptcy.
Yep.
So I always say we're adults, right? As we become adults, the pride thing needs to start falling off of our shoulder a little bit, right? We need to grow up. We need to own some things, and one is make sure you're paying your bills on time, right? Pay your bills on time because that's where everything starts. That's how you create a credit score. Okay,
Yes.
it's all based off of your payment history. So get a card. You don't abuse that card. So if you got a trade line and you can go up to $500, let's say, then really the magic number is 20% of that. You don't want to go into that card more than 20%. If you do, then it starts having a negative effect on your credit. So that's $100. You're not living off your credit cards. You're using them responsibly, right? So
The,
that's a little bit
the,
about credit. Go
What
ahead,
is the
Cindy.
difference, Bill? What's the difference between pre-approval and pre-qualification?
Yeah, great question. So with a pre-approval, in both scenarios, we're pulling credit. Okay, we're at least pulling a soft credit pull because that's where it all starts. Got to find out what the credit score is, and everything moves from there. But a pre-approval letter is you providing documentation, right? You have to prove that you qualify. So that's two current pay stubs, your last two W 2s, if you're a W 2 employee, two current bank statements so we can see assets, or a savings account if you've got your money in a savings account. If you're using a 401k, then we need a couple statements from it just to show that that money's there, right? The income, we got to calculate accurate income. I can tell you 9 out of 10 times talking to anybody, no one knows how much they make a year. It's kind of, I don't know. It took me back a little bit because I didn't expect that. And so what happens is people have a thought in their mind and they say, "Oh, I make 60,000." Well, no, you really made 57,000. When I look at your W two, so you're looking at a house in the
yeah,
350 range because you think that you can do that, when in reality you don't make that much. So, Cindy, I always call that moment where the tire meets the asphalt, right?
right.
That's when all the truth comes out. So, as we're verifying everything, then that's when it's a pre approval. A prequal is really nothing other than, okay, you got credit, but no one knows what your income is other than what you stated your income was. And I just explained how that can easily throw numbers off.
Right.
So, a prequal in real estate land doesn't hold water. A pre-approval does because you've been validated, right? You've been verified, if you will. We even have uh, we got two pre-approval letters. One's pretty basic. I've personally verified everything, not just one or two things, everything. And then the second one is a true verified approval letter that actually gets submitted into the underwriter for their review. They tear it apart, put it back together within a couple hours. They get back to us and give us the approval. On that approval letter, it states right on there that we'll pay that buyer $1,000 if we don't close that loan. Okay. So as you're
Okay.
going through this and we explain things, and Cindy, you know just as well as anybody, you always want to be the prettiest at the dance when you're making an offer,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You want your offer to stand out there like it's a piece of gold compared to the other 5, 7, 10 offers that are coming in. So you kind of got to differentiate yourself. And that's one thing I love about Rocket and our verified approval letter. One, it only takes a couple hours to get once we have all the documents. But more importantly, it gives us an edge trying to buy that property. So that's why we say on here that you submit your income, you submit your assets. I'm going to be working up your numbers. And I know from a real estate perspective, they can't really do a whole lot without a pre approval letter. So when you work with me and you're trying to get approved, that's like the top of my list. I move you, though, you pre approvals ahead of the contracts I already have waiting on me to work on. Why? Because I can lock that rate, I can set that file to the side and get back to it once I get done. But I got to get this person out here looking so they can buy. It's gas in your
Right.
tank, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we do. So programs like we're going to talk about here as we go through some of these properties are One Plus. That's a conventional program where you only need 1% down. Okay, you homeowners out there thinking you need a lot of money to put down? No, there's programs that are out there already in place to help offset some of that expense for you. And then most of you don't know that we can ask the seller to cover some closing costs. I mean, I've got two of the top negotiating real estate agents in the house right here. That's what they do. All right. So we got rent rewards. I think this is Miranda's favorite. We actually are paying, giving people a lender credit based off of their rent. So
We actually have
I
a
know,
client working in that program right now.
yes, we sure do, don't we?
Yep.
Cindy, what's the average rent down there on the beach where you're at?
Oh my gosh. If you're, I mean, and we're not talking about like vacation rental, like
No,
home rental.
long term.
Home rental.
Oh, it's no less than what, 1,500 a month for a small place, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. No less than 1,500 a month.
Yeah.
And that's
So
apartment. typically.
More than likely more than.
Mhm.
Which you,
Yeah,
right, Miranda?
right. So-
What do you think?
Yeah, it is. Apartments are running about 1,500. Brick and stick houses are running 18 to 25, and I've even seen a couple at like 32. It's ridiculous.
So that's what's going on in the rent world, right? We want to get out of the rent world and into the home buying world. So
Right.
just at
Put
1,500
that money
bucks,
out there.
like Cindy mentioned, yeah, just like Cindy said, I mean, you're throwing 1,500 bucks away every month. So we multiply that, that's $18,000. Wow. All right.
It's like,
We're gonna give you $1,800 credit so you can kind of get out of this rent trap, right? Because you're trying to save money as you still got money bleeding out because you still got rent, you still have bills. So this is a way to help you subsidize that rent payment or help you with some closing costs to make this a reality for you. So love that program too. We got the Home Possible. Home Possible is like a 3% down program. You can choose a 2-1 buy down for the rate. So let's just throw out a number. Let's say that rate's 6.5%. So the first year, your payment would be based off of 4.5%, not the 6%. So then year 2, you go to 5.5% until year 3 it adjusts back up to that fixed rate of 6.5. Now, mind you, with the way the market and everything is going on, interest rates are going to be dropping. So at that point in time, you're going to be refinancing soon. And then we'll take whatever money's left in that account, roll it to your refinance, and use it to pay down some closing costs or the rate, depending on what we want to do with that.
Yep.
We also have FHA. We do a ton of FHA. We are the #1 FHA company in the nation. We go down to like a 580 credit score, and you can use the majority of your income based off of that program because it lets your debt to income ratios be higher. And then I've got a list of new stuff that I'm probably not even going to supposed to say, but
Ask for forgiveness later.
that's it. So right now we have a super jumbo that goes up to $5 million. All right, that's really a 40-year program, 10-year interest only, and 30-year amortization. It's a fixed rate. That thing is a go-getter. All right, we're gonna do a lot of good with that program. A lot of people, when they're trying to sell a house, they have to wait on that house to sell so they can take the proceeds from that money they're going to make from there and take to the new property, and they get hung up and are waiting. So we're coming out with a bridge loan to help those people out. That'll get that house bought, and then we'll just wait on that house to sell, but everyone can move and continue doing what they're doing. There's some, I guess, properties out there that don't quite fit Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's guidelines. So we call them non-QM. We have some new non-QM mortgages coming out here. We've got rebuttal presumptions. For all you investors out there, we've got the DSCR coming. We've got a national down payment assistance program coming out for our first-time home buyers and some repeat buyers.
That's going to be awesome too.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about all these. I mean, I couldn't even sleep the other night. You're going to be able to close in an LLC or a trust. VA, right now, you can't, if you're not married to a veteran, you can't even go on the mortgage or the loan itself. So that's going to be changing. And we're coming out with USDA, which is a 0% down program that we've used in the past as well.
That's going to be huge, also, especially for our area.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so in Baldwin County, you'll find that there's pockets of USDA area, and within those pockets, those people would qualify for a 0% down program. They just got to have a 640 credit score. Debt to income ratio is a little tighter. I mean, it's a little tighter fitting box, but if you can fit in that box, you can benefit quite a bit from it.
Absolutely. It's a great program.
Yeah. So then we come to, so now you've got your pre-approval letter, you've got your how's your numbers work, your estimated numbers on how much you need for closing, how much the closing costs are, your estimated monthly payment. And then now it's time for our wonderful real estate agents to take you out and do what they do. I'm going to let you ladies take over a little home shopping piece, and I'll just let you take away with it and discuss each one of those topics.
All right. For me, with first-time home buyers, because it gets overwhelming. Okay. You're not going to look at the first house and fall in love. And I always kind of equate it, especially for women. It's like the wedding dress. You know it when you know it. You know that it's the one when you see it, when you try it on, whatever. When you walk in that house, you know if it's the one. There are going to be things about all properties that you look at that you're going to like. We're going to set you up on a search. We're going to send you listings. You're going to see things on social media about open houses or whatever. You are more than welcome to go to those open houses. You just make sure that you tell the agent running the open house that you're working with an agent. Give them our name and our contact information. So when we look at properties, I will give you a printout sheet and I tell all my buyers, rate the property on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being worst and 5 being best. You make your list of things that it must have. It must have 3 bedrooms. It must have a fireplace. It must have an island in the kitchen. If it does not have those 3 must-have items, then it's not going to rate as a 5. Then you're going to have a list of your wants, which are the things that you want the property to have, but could live without. So that seems to work very well for most of my buyers, because then if they have 3 properties rated as a 3 and 2 of them rated as a 4, they can get rid of the 3s and
Right.
they can focus on the 4s. Or if they have a 4 and a 5, well, if it's a 5 and it meets all your criteria as far as location, lot size, all your wants, all your needs, then why are we even considering the 4? So that's kind of how I do it. And it works very well for buyers. And I always make them start with that want and need list first. And then we start narrowing down the criteria and the searching.
Very well put. I got nothing there.
Same,
That's exactly what
same
we do.
thing you do, Cindy. Yeah, right.
It is. It's the same thing. But I mean, in that, it's the same thing because it makes it very simple. It can be overwhelming,
does.
especially as Miranda said, with first time home buyers. It can be overwhelming, and you think this, that, but having someone narrow it down, put it in a little box for you to look at, makes it easier.
It does.
I
had a first time home buyer that they wanted to actually buy in Florida. I showed them 35 properties.
Yeah.
Until they found the one. And I'm like, look, you have got to use this star rating program. Yeah, this star rating system that I've got you. And that's finally how we ended up narrowing it down. And they got a great property over there and they've actually absolutely loved it.
I love it. Did you guys hear that? She said you narrow things down.
Yep.
She went from 4 or 5 down. And when she had a couple 4s and like 3 3s, you just get rid of the 3s. You only focus on, the top. You don't need to go look at every house. You need to focus on what's best for you.
Right.
Right.
I mean, and within that box, you're going, if you've done your homework and gotten your pre-approval, that narrows it down even more. You're not just all over the place.
Right.
Not knowing what you're going to qualify for, and you can look in that price range.
Exactly.
It kind of takes all the chaos, right? Because
Exactly,
when when you're a first time home buyer, you're stepping out there. I mean, it is a little scary and intimidating. There's a lot going on. And you
Yep.
think because it's the area or era of Google, that you can just Google this stuff and figure it out. I'm here to tell
No.
you, I was 6 months on the job doing it every day, 10, 12 hours a day before I was like, the light bulb went off and I realized what I was doing.
Right.
Okay. So you got to rely on experts like us, right? You have to have trust and faith in us and make sure that you're vetting the people that you're working with, right? These ladies been in the business for years. You can look at their reviews, and I'm here to tell you those reviews are going to represent how they do their business. Okay? So if you're not checking somebody's reviews, you're missing something.
Yes.
Okay? You always want to vet people that you're working with. All right.
Absolutely.
So now it's time to make the offer. They found a house, they're in love. What happens then?
Well, my process is I will pull comps on that property. I will pull a specific report that will give me a estimated price range as to what that home is worth based off of criteria of the home and lot size and age and square footage and all that good stuff. And I sit down with my buyer and I say, okay, these are the number of houses that are like kind, similar. They have sold between this and this. You have to be fairly confident that the property will appraise at that offered amount. Otherwise, the bank is not going to loan more than what its appraised value is. Luckily, I've been doing this long enough. I'm usually within about $5,000 of the appraisal price, even though I'm not an appraiser. I know the market well enough that I'm usually within about a $5,000 window. So then you just determine what offer price you want to start with and what terms you want in the contract. If you're going to ask the seller to pay your closing cost and prepaids that they're allowed to pay up to a certain amount. If you want them, here's my favorite. If the roof is 20 or 25 years old, we can ask for a new roof. My philosophy is you can ask for anything, just about, within reason. But it's up to the seller to say yes or no. And everything is negotiable.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
I will say insurance has a lot to do with it nowadays too, because as Miranda just mentioned, the roof, we have run across now where lenders want to require you to either get a new roof, get a new water heater. Water heater you have might be perfect, work just fine, but it's 20 years old. Well, they say you need a new one. So insurance, so that's a factor in it as well. The insurance, it's a lot to look at, to unpack, even making the offer.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a good time that all right, because we're a team for you, the buyer. So we get together and we discuss, because what Miranda said,
Sure.
she's looking at what the value is that she thinks it is, not what it's listed at. No, she's trying to figure out if it's one, priced right, two, what should be the offer on the place, and based off of her research. So then we're going to get together, because once again, we're your team. And then we're going to talk about it. She's going to say, okay, I want the offer to be X. I'm going to change my numbers to match that offer. So then she's got a pre-approval letter and the estimated numbers. So she knows what she's working with when she makes that offer.
Right.
So this is all about us being a team and being here for you. Right. And we help ease these stresses, these anxieties that a lot of people, struggle with when they're going through processes of this nature. Okay. So now we're making the offer and we determine the offer price. Now it's just a matter of completing the contract, right? Filling it all out. And then you submit your offer.
Yep.
And then we do what?
We wait for the seller to accept it or counter it.
We hurry up and wait.
Yep.
Yes. Get all in here.
I'm not a patient person. I've been battling this since I was a kid, right? Zero, maybe negative patience. And when you'll find me, because did you hear anything yet? Or like, I'll text you when I hear something. I know you will, but I still got to ask because I can't stop it.
Yep.
So we're just as excited as you are being a first time home buyer when you're going through this. And I've been doing this for 23 years, but that's how exciting it is because we know how this is going to change your future.
It never gets old.
No.
And Cindy, I know you've been doing this a long time and you've handed over a lot of sets of keys. And
say that again.
I said, I know you've helped a lot of people and you sold a lot of properties and you put a lot of keys in people's hands.
Oh, yeah.
Does the feeling ever change?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And you work with people and try to help them, especially first-time home buyers, and to go through that whole process. Might be a couple glitches along the way. Say an inspection comes back wonky and you've got to fix something and renegotiate it. And you get down there and you get it to work and they go to closing. It does not ever change. It's just it's exciting now as it was way back then for me. I think Miranda's the same way.
Absolutely.
And as a team, when you get that all, when you get it all worked out and work together, it's just, it's exponential. Everybody's happy.
Right.
Magic, isn't it? It is truly magic. Yeah. So after the counter, the acceptance, we get everything in. I get the contract. Now it's time for me to submit that file in a processing. So before I can do that, mind you, I've got to take everything off that contract, put it into the system, get everything based off of now and match up to the contract. So everybody knows who everybody is and who's involved with the file. So once the file goes into processing, then that's when everything gets ordered for the file. So your home inspection is totally separated from anything that we do on the financing side. Okay, and I'm going to let Cindy talk about and Miranda talk about, these home inspections, because this is really preventing you from buying a lemon, if you will, right? I know that, was it pre-COVID? We were trying to buy a house, and I mean, you're competing against 10 people per each house. We made, I don't know, 4 or 5 different offers on different houses. We got 2 of them accepted. We ordered the inspection because I don't want to buy a turd. And sure enough, 2 of them were turds. Had foundation issues, right? Big structural issues.
That's a problem.
Without that inspection, oh my God, that'd have been the worst nightmare of our lives.
Absolutely,
so it would have. I'll let you ladies talk a little bit about the inspections and some past experience that you've seen.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Go, Miranda.
Oh, you gonna make me go? Okay.
We just had one, really.
We did, and I've had some doozies over my career. If I can find the speckle pup house, and that's the one that my buyer falls in, it's just me. I'll do it. But I've been able to pull it off. Actually, 3 times I have pulled off getting home inspections back with delaminated roofs, old roofs, and I've actually pulled off 3 transactions so far in my career of getting complete full new roofs. I actually have one that's going to close next Friday. That they are actually putting a new fortified roof on the house. So when Bill says I'm very good at negotiating, I am. But home inspection wise, I've seen their job is to pick apart that house. And you're going to feel like they are nitpicking because that is their job. They work for you as the buyer. They're going to list everything down to a missing outlet cover, a missing light switch cover, a crack in the drywall that could be absolutely nothing other than it's a crack. Non-working light bulbs. If the light bulbs are blown and the light won't turn on, they're going to note it, that it needs to be checked out. Could be a blown bulb, could be electrical problem, whatever. They are not roofers. They are not plumbers. They are not electricians.
True.
But when there is a problem, they will note that they recommend it be checked out by a qualified professional, whether that be a plumber, a roofer, a foundation person, or whatever. So yeah, they will. They'll rip that house apart in every possible way. They test water temperature. They test the temperature of the air coming out of the air vents. I mean, it's phenomenal what they do. If it's on a crawl space and not a slab, one of the home inspectors that I use, if he can get under the house and crawl the crawl space, he will. We do have an inspection company that we work with that if they can't get under, they do have a rover. So they can actually send the little robot dude under the house. Cindy actually just had one that went through the little rover
yesterday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool.
It is cool. I mean, technology is like super cool.
Yeah. All to make sure you don't buy a turd.
Right. And then so when we get that home inspection back, you'll review it and you'll decide what things are important to you that you want to ask for repairs. And you may be okay with not asking for repairs for any of it. And there may be some things that you want to ask for repairs for. And I generally tell all my buyers, first-time home buyers and all buyers alike, if it is not structural, it is not safety, it is not a health concern, a lot of sellers won't fix them. If it's cosmetic, they're probably not going to fix it.
Right. Right.
I mean, you have to be reasonable in what you're asking for. You're not buying, especially if you're buying a resale house, you're not buying new construction. But I will tell you, I've seen some home inspections come back on new construction just as bad on a house that was built 60 years ago. So I've seen it go both ways. But yeah, if it's not structural or safety or health, if it's not an active leak, if it's not, something that is actively creating a problem, some of these sellers, it's hard to get repairs done, especially if it's not structural or safety or something like that. Not that they won't, but you have to be reasonable when you're asking for repairs.
Well, that's right. And then of course, and the offering price on the house will have something to do with whether they want to fix anything or not.
Correct.
You've got them down. You've gotten them down to what you think is a pretty good or low price, and they may say, "Nope, not fixing a thing. You're taking it as it is."
Right.
And, so
and there are some businesses that they don't want to make the repair, but they're willing to give you an additional seller concession in lieu of that, or they're willing to reduce the purchase price in lieu of those repairs.
Right.
So there's several ways that it can be worked out.
And then don't forget the termite.
Oh yeah, and then we have here in Alabama we have Formosan termites, the little monsters, because we are in a humid, damp climate. So we have termites. It's just a fact of living here. So we do a wood infestation report, but that wood infestation report doesn't just look for termites. It looks for termites, wood destroying fungus, any type of wood destroying issue, whether it's fungus or mold or whatever, or termites. They'll look for current active termites. They'll look for previous activity, previous damage, current damage, short of them, knocking a hole in the wall. However, I have had one that wanted to knock a hole in the wall and the seller was okay with it as long as, they repaired it. And they did. I mean, it was strange. One of my first early transactions, and I'm like, that is odd. But hey, I get it. So they'll do this WIR report. The cost of the report will usually go towards the cost of the yearly bond. And I highly recommend every single buyer get a termite bond.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Agreed.
Down here it is. It is. She's right.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So keep in mind, this is also the time frame that the appraisal's being ordered, title's being ordered. 9 out of 10 times your rate's been locked. Now, in Zach's case, the day that I was receiving the contract, rates went up 0.375 that day. Being being a boss in my field and understanding how rates and everything are working and what's been happening with the economy, I said, let's just be a little patient. Things are improving. I'm pretty sure that it'll come back. So sure enough, we just locked it last week. Rates came back like I expected them to. We got right back to where we were originally, and we locked him in. We got final numbers. His numbers are about $2,500 less than what we quoted him. So we always love to under promise and over deliver.
Absolutely.
That's what we're
Yeah.
here to do. No one likes that heart attack at closing. Oh my God, I need $2,000 more. What?
Right.
Oh, I would have a heart attack. That is no. You want to talk about anxieties? That would
Yep.
drive my anxieties through the roof, right? So working with us and knowing that those things aren't going to happen, I mean that's a huge, huge blessing right there. All right.
Yes.
So now, as we're moving through processing, we get a conditional approval because the underwriter says, okay, you received a new paycheck since your last one, and you should have an updated bank statement. So we get those submitted in. It goes to one final review, and then we get the magic. It's clear to close, right? Those three words in our industry that are like gold, because at that point in time, you're approved. We don't need to see another piece of paper. We don't care where your money's coming from. You're approved. You're good. You're validated. It's time now to wait on our final numbers to come through. And that's, once again, patience during this time frame. My skin's crawling because I'm impatient. So once we get the final numbers out, first thing I always glance at what we estimated at and what we finalized at, right? Because that's a reflection of me, my numbers, my communication all the way through this thing. Mm-hmm. So when I look at that, thank God everything was good, just as I expected. He was super happy. I mean, he's bringing in $2,500 less than he expected to, and it's going to be a great closing. I just feel it.
Absolutely.
So once we get to the final figures, they actually come from the title company. I know it sounds weird, but when the housing market crashed, our government split everything up, the responsibilities, and they gave the responsibility of final numbers coming from the title company. So they're working with my closing department to balance those numbers, make sure all the checks and balances are there, make sure your $500 earnest money was, accounted for, the appraisal cost, all these things that they're double checking just to make sure that everything's 100%. And then final figures come out. I'll email them over to you or text them however you want them. We'll go through them line by line. I'll answer any questions that you have to make sure that you understand everything. And then at that point in time, it's just a matter of getting your money from your account to the title company. So normally if it's under 10,000, and I know that some title companies are different, but normally if it's under 10,000, you can bring a cashier's check. I always say make it out to the title company or yourself and then endorse it to them or however you want to do it. But if it's over 10 grand, then you're normally wiring those funds directly from your account to the title company using their wiring instructions. And I just want to make a note while we're on this subject here. There's a lot of scammers. There's a lot of just a bunch of idiot people out there doing no good. They're breaking into your email. They're doing all kinds of stupid stuff like that. You just want to be super cautious when you're going through this buying process. Make sure that, someone didn't hack into your email. They didn't get the wiring instructions and make some changes to it. So now you're not wiring money to their account versus a title company. Right. So I always say when you get that email, just pick up the phone and verify things. It's that simple.
Sure.
That one phone call. I literally had a customer in Chicago. My gosh, and I just remembered this, that he had $20,000 taken out of his account. 20 grand, just poof, gone. He called me. He said, Bill, I put that check in yesterday. I said, I know. I saw it pending. He said, no, you don't understand. It's gone today. This was Saturday. So the check went in on Friday, showing pending in his account. If his statements show pending, well, that money really ain't there yet. So I can't use it. So I told him, I said, you got to go back Saturday Give me another statement showing it's no longer pending, that's in your account. When he called me, he was like in frantic. Well, I don't even know what to do, Bill. I'm speechless. I said, get your butt back in that bank and find out where your money's at. Well, come to
Right.
find out, after 30 days of searching and researching it, they found out that someone from the United Kingdom had snatched that money out of his account.
Oh my gosh.
So, so through all that, it delayed us a couple weeks in closing because he didn't have his funds to close. But those things really happen. Okay, that was way too close to home. So I make sure to tell everybody, hey, before you send money anywhere, call me. You call that title company. You verify it, right?
Yep.
Because once again, we're here to protect you. That's why we're your teammates. This is why we use the education from our past experiences and everything that we see on a daily basis to make sure nothing happens to you. Let's see here. So we signed everything. The next step is I know what you guys live for, and that's to hand out keys, right?
Yes.
Good at that.
What an amazing moment that is. So you just went from renting. Let me paint you a picture. Throwing $18,000 away if you're just renting at $1,500 a month. Your life just changed. You don't even know it. Because what's going to happen is, as you're paying that mortgage down, right? Because it's your debt. As you're making those monthly payments, that balance is going down. As you're paying that down, the value of that property is going up. Why? How does my property go up? How's that happen? Well, it's because the house is down the road, similar to yours, based off of square footage and bedrooms and baths and all that stuff, just sold for $10,000 more than what you just bought yours for. So now you just picked up some equity. So that gap in between there is what we call equity. All right. That's money. That's fortune sitting there. So as a first time home buyer, 9 out of 10 times you're carrying debt. Why? Because you've been in this rent struggle. So now once you build some equity, we can go in there and do a refinance, pull some cash out, because that's your bank account really. Pull some money out of there, pay that debt off, create a huge savings because now you don't have a car payment. Now you don't have a $250 credit card. Maybe that four-wheeler that you bought, you know, or that RV, right? We buy things. I think you're seeing that play out nationally because everybody wants to be in our market
Yes.
because we are really the consumers in this world today. So all I can stress is, you know, the equity is going to pay off your debt at that point in time. So you create this savings. You take some of that savings and you put it back for a rainy day. That's the first thing you do. The second thing is you just borrowed from your equity. So let's pay some back. So basically, you're going to overpay your mortgage. So now you're going to cut years off of it. All right. No one wants to pay 30 years for something. I mean, just think that if you paid your car for 30 years, how much interest would be tacked onto that thing, right? You buy a car for 10 grand, pay, 100,000 back. Well, it's kind of works like the same way with a house. You're buying it today, but not paying it off for 30 years. That's a ton of interest. But relying on us experts, we can show you, hey, if you make a payment every 2 weeks, you can cut off 5 to 7 years of payments.
Yep.
What? 5 to 7 years of payments?
Yeah.
That's a ton, right? Just because we know how to work the system, we know how things work, and we can shine the light on these things and help you through those. So they've got keys, they're ready to rock. We've kind of said, congratulations. The next thing I'm going to do is ask for referrals.
Yes.
Because we just spent a good 30 to 45 days not getting paid nothing for working with you and helping you find your house. So this is a time that you can thank us by saying, hey, I know that my cousin rents. Hey, I know my aunt owns a home, but she was just talking about she doesn't have much money left over at the end of the month because she's on fixed income. All these things bring to us. We're here to help those people. And this is how we continue doing what we're able to do because we got another customer that we can go and help.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right. Right. And then one of the good things, like with this team, one of the good things, the way that is for me, I bounce things off of both you, Bill, and Miranda. And I may already know, I already think I know the answer, but let me go ahead and run it past these guys. And it's so, so helpful as far as the whole process. It
Absolutely.
enhances it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, I mean, our industry changes constantly. I mean,
Yes.
if there's not a new rule or guideline or I mean, it's constantly changing. So it's evolving. Once again, it's all based off of, security. Make sure that all your personal information is protected. It takes everything from the system, right? Because we can't have anybody hacking into the systems, taking your identification information. So, I mean, there's a huge process. And you'll see once you get involved and you get your pre approval letter, from that point on, it could be 30 days, 45 days, 90 days, 120 days, right? I mean, until you find a house.
Yep.
Who's still working for you during that time frame and not
Right.
getting paid?
Right.
That's all of us, right? That is all of us. So at the end of the day, we just ask you to appreciate our time and everything that we do for you because that's what we do. And we love our jobs. We love everything about helping you and we want to help you. So allow us to do that. Okay. Here's our contact information. We're about to dive into some houses here in a minute, but this is how you can get in contact with all three of us. If you're looking for a house, a condo, a townhome, anything down in that Baldwin County area, please reach out to Miranda and Cindy. Like I said, they are two boss ladies out there, have been doing it for a long time. If there's anybody that can get it done for you, it's them too. I just help out.
You're a huge help.
It's a team.
It is definitely a team effort for sure. Because if, mind you, there's times Miranda shot me the text, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago or something about midnight or 11 o'clock or something. I'm like, yep, I got it. She's like, what? I wasn't even expecting you to reply back. I'm like, I'm here. I'm not doing anything. I'll take care of it right now. So that's a good
try not
function.
to do that very often.
I know, I'm sure of it. But I mean, once again, we're here for you. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I don't want any first time home buyer, any buyer out there, repeat buyer, whoever you are, if you're not receiving communication back and forth with your real estate agents or your loan officers, just call us. Let us take care of you. All right. Put all that nonsense aside because that's not building up for a good experience. Okay. There's enough stress that goes into these and the added drama or things that just don't necessarily need to be there because someone's not being, as professional as they could be. We want to remove all that, right? We want this to be the best experience that you have. It should be a great experience. I mean, you're buying the largest asset of your life. This thing opens up future wealth, generation wealth,
Yes.
right? Imagine if because you're buying a house for the first time. What if someone gave you a house? What? Yeah.
Right.
Do the flip side. Now you're an elderly person. You got family. Now you're passing your house on to somebody and it's probably paid off.
Exactly.
Now they just inherited all that equity and to be able to leave that for your family when no one was able to do that for you or other members of your family prior to you. That's amazing. I'm here to tell you we're building legacies, right?
That's right.
Right.
We all want to have a legacy at the end of the day once we're dead and gone, and we want people to remember us. Well, what better thing to have someone remember you by that? My God, my grandma gave me a house, or whatever the case may be. So these are the things that we enjoy in our industry every day. So enough about us. Enough about the process. Let's dive in and take a look at some houses. But first, if anyone got any comments before we move to the houses?
Well, we have the houses. Don't forget, we have wonderful investment property, vacation homes or second homes, wonderful investment properties on the beach. So we're available for that as well. Investors love investors. So
I
Yes.
love it. Thank you,
We're
Cindy. And
actually
I'm
going
a
to
beach
share.
bum. I'm an Indiana beach bum, if you can believe that or not.
Yeah, right. And that's one of the things that we're actually going to share at the very end is a new pre-construction investment opportunity that's coming up down here as well. There's many, but this is one of them.
brand
Yeah,
new.
and most of you don't know, and I'm going to bring this up, and Cindy didn't even mention it. So Cindy and her husband, Rick Phillips, they've been down on the beach for how
Ever.
long?
Ever.
How long? Ever. I didn't want to say it, but I thought it was ever. They've not only lived there, they become part of their community. They have become developers on the beach, right? They
We
have their
started out
own
as a
stuff
developer.
going.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Huge. All right. I love it.
Right.
So if you guys, like I'm telling you, if you need to know anything about this area from a developer standpoint to a first time home buyer standpoint, this team's got you covered. Okay. If you're an investor, and you happen to stumble across this, we got you covered. Okay. We've got the programs, we've got everything, we've got the
Yeah.
properties, we've got, I mean, this, I'm trying to, once I get my financial house completely unpacked here with the loss of the house, and I got so many things going on, my next thing is to buy a condo down there because I know that condos down there on the beach make money.
They
They
do.
do.
They absolutely do.
They do.
It's a
If
wonderful
you're,
write off on top of that.
Yep.
it sure is. I mean, if you're an investor and you're looking for some oceanfront properties, um, I don't know any other place that I would put my
It's
money.
beautiful
I
here.
just don't. It is. It's remarkable. Okay, enough of that. Let's check out some houses.
All right. Let's check out some houses. This one is actually in Bay Minette. It was built in 1948. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's got a bonus room. All the appliances convey. So it's the washer, the dryer, the fridge, all of it is going to convey. It's listed at $199,900. It's been completely remodeled, tastefully done. And this is a great area. Actually, this is North Baldwin County. It's north of I-10. But the cool thing about Bay Minette is we have what we call, it's called Novellus. It is a huge recycling plant that is coming to our industrial mega site area, which is on the north side of Bay Minette. So
Nice.
Bay Minette's becoming a very popular, really good spot. Insurance rates are a little bit less up there because of the distance to the beach. But Bay Minette's a great area. It's a small little rural town. I mean, they have a Walmart and they have grocery stores and stuff like that, but it's just a rural little country town. Easy commute to I-10 or I-65 to get to Mobile or, anywhere really in the area. So Bay Minette's a good location, and this would be a great first-time home buyer property as well.
Yeah, let me chime in here for a second. So at
Go ahead.
199.9, this particular program qualifies for One Plus. Okay. So One Plus, you only need 1% down. So when I do the 199,900, 1%, do you have just under $2,000? Because if so, there's a good chance that you can purchase this house, right?
And
Because what we can do,
with the One Plus program, correct me if I'm wrong, they also get a 2% grant for down payment, correct? From Rocket, or am I
yeah,
wrong in that?
that's
Okay.
no, that's absolutely correct. So you only need 1%. We're going to give you 2%. So 2 times that, we're going to give you almost $4,000 as a lender credit to help with your down payment assistance. And then Miranda or Cindy would negotiate your closing costs to be included in here, right? So now
Right.
you're just coming to the table with your 1%, your $2,000. Now, mind you, you paid for an inspection out of that. It's separate. Okay. So that, how much is an inspection down there?
Anywhere from, depending on the area, 4 1/4, 550, depending
Yeah.
on who
Okay.
you use.
Yeah. So you got an inspection report that you got to pay for outside of my money, right?
Mhm.
Make sure you're not buying a turd. And then outside of that, you have your 1%. We cover your other 2%. You got seller credit. You're in that house in 30 days.
Yep.
Okay. So let's look at a quick, I got a quick payment here. So programs, this qualifies for the One Plus. Like I said, that gives you a $3,980 credit towards your closing cost. It also qualifies for the Home Possible. That gives you $1,930 credit, but it also can give you a 2-1 lender buy down. All right, a buy down is really a buy down on the rate. So just for easy math, let's say the program's at 6.5%, like I mentioned earlier, then you start out year one paying a mortgage payment off of 4.5%. All right, that's going to save you somewhere around $200, $300 a month for that first year. Okay, so that's huge. So we have programs that can get you into these houses and pretty easily, like.
With
I'm
that
going to
being said,
calculate.
I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
toad on Bill for a minute. Bill is this is one of the reasons that I work with Bill as close as I do, and 99.9% of my buyers choose him when I send them the list of lender referrals. Bill will not just throw you in a program. He is going to essentially build the program that works best for you based off of their guidelines and what programs they have. But he's not just going to say, oh yeah, it's going to go FHA. He's going to look at all the options of what they have based off of what you're telling him, whether you want your payment to remain, in a specific kind of budget or whatever. And Bill's very good at putting people in a workable program. I mean, nobody wants to be house poor. That just is setting you up for failure down the road.
Yeah, we definitely don't want you mortgage poor, because then that starts pressing issues. We don't want you start having late payments or
Right.
anything like that. So we'll definitely avoid, pushing you up there to your absolute max. No one wants to be maxed out. So we'll make sure that doesn't happen. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. So I'm looking for on Rocket Mortgage, there's on the actual website, there's a calculator. I'm mentioning this to you. So if you're a first time home buyer or a new buyer, you can go here to these calculators and they will actually help you calculate the numbers that you're looking for. So I'm just going to the mortgage calculator on here. I'm entering the home price of $199,900. That down payment, remember, was 3%. You only need 1% of that 3%.
And I will say, y'all's mortgage calculator is one of the best that I've ever used.
Yeah, and that's why I'm pointing it out, because I never really paid much attention to what was, the website stuff, because I got my own stuff. But for first-time home buyers, I realized that if they could come here and, enter some numbers, then it's a pretty simple process for them. So I just do the same thing. How much are the taxes on this particular property? I love this area.
That's a good question. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Insurance is going to be probably around $2,000, maybe.
Probably.
The taxes on that in Bay Minette? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a little less, but
hold on, I got it right here. I'll pull it up real quick. Let me just get on the right.
You'll realize that
property taxes. Property taxes are $1,246.95. And that could be because it's not homesteaded. That could be because it's an investment property. Because if you don't have your homestead exemption, your taxes will be a little more. If it's a second property, it'll be a little more. Like if you use it as a rental, your property taxes are a little higher than if it's homesteaded, because you can't homestead a rental. You can only homestead your primary.
Correct. But I'm here to tell you that property taxes on this should be around $600, if not lower. So we'll put 600 because we know it's a rental based off of the taxes.
Yep. Pretty much.
So we mentioned earlier that rent $1,500, you're throwing away your $18,000, right? Every year, just throwing it in a trash can. Yeah, you provided a place for you to live, but you didn't gain anything off of it. This is about gaining stuff. So that payment, taxes and insurance included. Now, this doesn't include mortgage insurance, but payment's $1,442.
That's not bad.
So you'll be right around that $1,500 mark that you're paying rent if you bought this house. Okay. Now, from what I know, Baldwin County is one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Alabama. Right?
We are the second fastest growing county in the state. We are the sixth fastest growing county in the nation.
How about that? Because everybody wants to live there.
Everybody wants to live here.
Buy there, wait a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, and sell that thing, walk away with a bunch of thousands of dollars in your pocket.
Absolutely.
So if you bought this at $199.9 and property values are growing, how much down there?
Oh my God.
Year over year.
It's hard to keep up with. It's hard to keep up with.
It's so hard to keep up with.
So let's just use 5% because that's common, right? Your guys' area is more probably 10 to 12, but we'll just say 5%. That property just made you $10,000 that year. Okay, this is how a house makes you money. Remember, I told you the value is growing. Every time a house that sells just like yours for more money, your house just went up. So this is the investment part and the financial side of owning a house. So if that house is making you 10 grand the first year, well, guess what's going to make you more next year? Property values keep going up. All right. So now I'm sure that's starting to understand. You're starting to understand how this equity gets built, right? Because it's not your car. Your car is depreciating in value. It's going down. So as you're paying it down, hell, it's following your payment plan. It's going right down with it. All right. So awesome. All right. Love that little house. Here's another thing I want to say about this house. If I was a first-time home buyer and I looked at this and I was like, it needs this. Maybe I want to make some change. Stop it. Buy this house, stay in it for 12 months, make it your rental. Then let me show you how to buy another house.
Exactly.
All right. This is a perfect rental place, right?
Absolutely.
Own it for a year, roll out of that thing, let someone else make that mortgage payment for you on that house. Let me qualify you based off of using now a lease agreement and the income you're going to be receiving that on the new house. Those numbers will work.
Absolutely,
Promise.
They will.
Now all of a sudden, year 2, hell, you got 2 houses.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you can keep doing that. So this is what we show you. Awesome. All right, let's take a look at the next house.
All right. This one is in Alberta, which Alberta is a very quaint little country, Germanish kind of town. It's very rural, lots of farmland. They have the Alberta Sausage Festival twice a year, which is actually really cool to go to. It's kind of a cool little festival. That's back to the festival things, that there's always something going on down here. So this one was built in 92. It's 1,400 square feet. This one's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. The seller is already willing to offer $5 grand in concessions, and they've got this one listed for $260. And this is about a half-acre lot.
Nice. Okay, let's look at some numbers on this. So monthly payment right around $1,900. That's under $2,000 right there. Once again, with our 1+ program, you need a 620 or above credit score to qualify. You need 1% down, and let us take care of the rest for you through negotiating and what we do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right. So let's see what else. Oh, I wanted to bring up. So currently, we're now going off of 2025 new area median income numbers. Okay. So I know now in your area in Baldwin County, that has increased by a good 10, 11,000 to 71,280. So in order to qualify for some of these first time homebuyer programs, once again, they put you in a box. So you got to make less than 71,280 to qualify. If you make more, that's okay. We got other programs for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This house also has a new roof. They put a new roof on after Hurricane Sally, which hit us in 2019. And another cool thing about Alberta is they have a very small grocery store, and it is a family-owned grocery store. It's called Alberta Grocery. Best meats and steaks you'll ever buy. They have a little butcher shop in the back. It is phenomenal. And Alberta's a great place. Alberta's just great.
Yeah. And how far away is Alberta from the beach?
15, 20 minutes, depending on which beach you're going to.
Yeah.
Because we also have an area called Pirates Cove, which is actually on the bay. They have a big restaurant. You can take your dogs, your kids. Pirates Cove is a cool spot. They have got boat docks, so you can ride your boat right up to Pirates Cove. So
yes,
there's water. There's waters all around Alberta that you can, drop your boat and you can boat straight down to the Gulf, or it's an awesome little area.
It sure is. Being a Midwestern and fishing out of ponds all my life in the river. When I got down there and we got a boat and I was sitting in the bay, I can still remember this today. I'm sitting there and I got a fishing pole out in the water. I've got a fruity drink in front of me, and I've got my laptop and I'm working, right? I'm working, and I just sit back and the sights, the views are so beautiful.
It's special.
That I didn't even feel like that I was working. Maybe I
Oh,
wasn't, but I was trying to work. I thought I was working mentally, but I was so captivated by just where I was at. I couldn't stop smiling. I mean, it's just amazing what weather, views, and just great people, what it does to your health.
absolutely. The
Absolutely.
salt air is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So great stuff. Love it. Okay, what else we got?
The next one is, this one's in Robertsdale. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. They've just repainted it. They put in new LVP flooring. It was built in 98. It's 1,416 square. It's a corner lot. This is a cool little house too, and they've got it listed at 269.
Yeah, once again, like a 1950, it's still under $2,000 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything over that 260 mark, then we're going to be breaking that 2,000, you know, mortgage payment.
Right.
But those are great examples of some first time home buyer homes that we can get you in within the next 30 days. I literally closed, and this isn't bragging. This is kind of more of a wow factor for me still, because I'm a pretty humble guy. I don't like to brag about anything. I was taught when I was a little kid, once again, growing up in that little Indiana, farmer community that I grew up in. Even though I had a curveball that I had to throw behind people to get it across the plate, you didn't boast about any of that, right? So I remember coming, I was like, woo, he's like pointing his finger at me like, you be humble, boy. So this is all coming straight from my heart and being humble. But this right here sets everything apart from first time home buyers. Look at these houses. They're all brick, right? They're solid. They got some of the best builders down in the area. And for a place to live, like I said, most of the people, it seems like, now I was an outsider, so I'm only taking an outside perspective. Are there a lot more outsiders, I guess, implants versus locals now?
Yes.
What's kind of taking place there?
I believe my own. I mean, I'm a transplant too, but I feel like I've lived here forever. But I moved here in 2011 from Texas. But I do believe the population of transplants is increasing. I mean, we still have a lot of local people that have lived here their whole life, but we have the amount of transplants we have over the last years that I've lived here is crazy.
Yeah, that's what I saw when I was actually rolling out of there. That's when that
Uh-huh.
transformation started to take place. And I know that like the places I used to drive by
Mhm.
was just land. Now they're
Yes, not anymore.
subdivisions.
Yes.
Right now they're
Not,
now,
and that's one of the things. Not only is it a great place to live just because of the area and the sights and the things to do and the beach, and we have it all. We have beach, we have river, we have all this stuff. We have rural areas, we still have farmland. You can be driving down 59 and you'll see cornfields and cotton fields and soybeans and all this stuff. But it's not just that. We have one of, if not the lowest property taxes in the country.
yes.
So that is a big draw for people also.
Yeah, you Chicago folks,
Yep.
your $10,000-$15,000 taxes.
Yep.
Come on down. Sell that. Come on down. We'll show you what's up.
Absolutely.
Way better down here. Okay, fantastic. What else we got?
All right, our next one. This is actually a duplex in Bay Minette. So remember, North Baldwin County, Novellis, the recycling plant. It was built in '86. It's 1,416 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, each side. Side B is occupied currently. Side A is vacant. So they went ahead and they did some upgrades to side A while it was vacant. But look, multifamily properties like this, they're a hot commodity. You can live in one side, make the income off the other. I mean, if you can do it,
they're perfect.
They're perfect. They are.
Yeah. So
fourplex.
Yes, I always say the more the merrier, right? No one wants a neighbor all up on them, but if it's going to be your future investment property, what's it matter? Now you got two producing incomes. So one will normally pay for that. The second one becomes income. You move out of it. Now you got two rentals in there. One's paying that while the other one's helping pay your mortgage on your next house.
Exactly. See, I wish I'd have known all this way back when, and I would have worked my life this way instead of in reverse.
Exactly.
But they don't teach this stuff in school.
We'd be walking the beach like Cindy.
Absolutely.
Cindy been in real estate a long time. Developing side, all of it. Full of knowledge.
So what are we looking at payment-wise on this one, Bill?
All right. So at $325, what are the taxes?
Taxes on this one are... Oh, I probably scrolled the wrong way on my... Nope, I sure didn't. $1,031.
Okay, I was at $1,200, so let me go lower.
And this is a half-acre lot also, so you've got a decent size. I mean, even if you fence the whole backyard in and split it, you would still have a decent sized yard for each side if you wanted that privacy.
Yeah. So payments $2,300. Right.
Bad.
So $2,300. You minus out that $1,500. Probably get a little more out of it. You're paying $800 a month. Saving for your next opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's huge. All right. Nice. What's next?
Our next one is another duplex. This one's in Foley. It was built in '04. One side is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. The other side is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. And it's about 1,280 square feet. So that 1-bedroom, 1-bath is pretty good size at 1,280 square.
I would say. Taxes on this one?
Taxes on this one are $1,910.
Okay. God, taxes like that in Chicago for that right there probably be $20,000.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so you're within $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, mind you, this is a little. Was this in a little? This is 1280, 3 bedroom, one bath. So let's say that. Let's call that $2,500, and you're receiving $3,000 in rent now when you move out of there, right? Because you're renting both sides. So now you're gaining $500 a month,
Right.
and that property is being paid for by itself as it's increasing in value. Okay, so now you got this thing over here making you money because this
Mm-hmm.
is your investment property. It's what it's supposed to do. While you're over here in your new home, your owner occupied, your primary, and you're doing the same thing with it.
Right.
All right, this is how the wealth becomes to start add up as you add properties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next.
This one is in Gulf Shores. It's a newer home. It was built in 2017. It's 1,725 square, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, gold fortified. So your insurance is going to be a little cheaper. And the washer and dryer will convey in this one as well.
Awesome. Can you go ahead and talk to us a little bit about the insurance piece and what you just said means?
All right. We have what we call fortified. And it's a more stringent building code. So like it's more straps, it's more nails, it's more screws, like for the roof. And granted, I'm not a builder, but for the roofing, when they go to put the roof on and the plywood butts together for the decking, they actually put they tape those seals where the plywood meets to help prevent water intrusion. And it's not hurricane proof, but it, upgraded windows for higher wind. What am I trying to say?
Straps,
Wind resistance, wind
straps there,
protection.
straps in the roof.
Yes.
Straps, studs are a little bit different. They're all studs. Studs are all strapped, literally. That metal. They're all strapped down.
Yeah, they use
Uh,
different hangers and stronger hangers and stuff like that. So it's a
Interesting.
construction quality. So
made it.
essentially what it is they started this, and insurance companies said, oh, well, if you're going to increase the wind rating on windows and the wind rating on the roof, and you can build it to these specifications so that it is protected for a higher mile per hour wind. If you build that or you have that, then we'll give some insurance breaks. And I will tell you,
They're significant.
they are significant. The transaction that Bill and I are closing next Friday, as a matter of fact, non-fortified roof, the insurance is like $3,500 a year. Once the fortified roof gets put on, the insurance drops to $22 to $24 a year. So
yeah, big difference, right?
It'll save a big difference. And it's a certification that you have to have inspected and recertified every 5 years. If you add on to the home, whether it's a patio or it's another room, it has to be done to fortified standards. Otherwise, they will not renew your fortified certificate. So keep that in mind too, as well.
Good points. Good points. Cindy, anything to add?
No. It's all very good. Spot on.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Next house.
This one's in Foley. It was built in 19. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It's just shy of 2,000 square feet. It again has got a gold fortified roof, and it comes with a saltwater pool. Just saying.
I want that one.
I know, right?
It gets hot down there. There's
Yes,
no doubt
it
about
does. Gosh, it's
How
already
much is the
started.
taxes?
Taxes are $2,055 on this one.
I'm gonna bump the insurance up to $2,500 on this one. just to give us a little. Yeah, so 2,800, still under $3,000 for this particular house.
Right. And that's a
And
that's
look
a
at
fairly
that.
new pool. They just installed it in 21.
Yeah, and so I come from a line of entertainers, if you will. So my dad, I mean, we had parties at our house. We had live bands at our house. We had, hog roast. I mean, we threw down, right? So when you grow up in that, and when I see this backyard, I see the pool, I see the pergola or whatever that is,
Mhm.
and I see the little entertainment area. I mean, that's what I see. That's what I would turn that thing into, is a little, place where I'd have family and friends, and we would, have a heyday there every weekend.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a
All
great
right,
little.
next.
This one is in Orange Beach. It was built in 2001. This one's just shy of 2,300 square. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and the cool thing about it is it has a climate-controlled patio along with the pool.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
What are the taxes on this thing?
Taxes on that one are $3,084.
That puts you close to a $4,000 payment. So 4,000. About 48,000 a year. But the thing is, you just paid $549 for this. We just said 5% of growth. That made you $27,450 first year, right? If that's at 5%. Mind you, this area has been growing a lot faster and a lot higher percentage than that.
Right.
I know there was one time, I mean, heck, we saw 12, 15% growth.
Absolutely.
In fact, someone bought a house in like 3 years. Okay, so they bought a house, they put 5% down.
Mhm.
PMI, if you don't put 20% down, you have a PMI factor, which is a cost for not putting 20% down. Okay. 5%, I think they were paying, I don't know, 250 bucks or something a month. And within, I think it was year 4, maybe year 3, I can't remember. But one of those years, we were able to refinance it and remove the PMI because the values had already grown up past the 80%. And it had only been a couple, 2 or 3 years.
Mhm.
And I was able to drop that PMI payment completely off of there.
Right.
Because of the growth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the appreciation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you got properties, and I mean, once again, it's because it's a sought after area, right?
Mhm.
I mean, like she said, Baldwin County is what, 6th quickest growing in the nation?
It is the 6th fastest growing county in the nation.
In every state. You're looking at it right now. Baldwin County.
Yep.
I love it. So this particular house, like I said, this puts you about 4,000. But once again, it's making you, half of that, right? 27,450 a year, just at the 5%. If that thing bumps up to that 10%, right, then you're just doubling that. I mean, now you just made almost $55,000 off your house that year. That's insane, guys. Insane. Only in Baldwin County.
Yeah, only in Baldwin County.
Okay, next. What else we got to look at? Should be getting close, huh?
That might be the last one.
I was thinking so too. So
I had 8 of them. Let me see. Let me flip through these real quick. We showed that one.
While you're looking at that.
That one.
That's just a sample. There are so many available in different price ranges, sizes.
Yep, that was all 8 of them. The only thing we have left now is the pre-construction investment opportunity.
Okay, so a little bit more about this area, guys. So as more people become aware of it, because just 5 years ago, when I was down there, mind you, this really started.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been something that that they've been like this hidden gem for all these years. Now, as us snowflakes roll back up north and we start talking about all the fun that we had down there, word starts to travel. And then, oh, what, taxes are a fraction of what I'm already paying?
Yep.
What? We got to go check this out. Right?
Yep.
That gets the gears moving. And then before you long, I know I've got people from Michigan that have moved down because we've done their financing. You got people from my area here in Indiana that have moved down because we got them financing. Illinois because of the taxes. I had a client up there that said, Bill, if I have to pay another $15,000 taxes, I'm going to choke somebody. Uh-huh. And I was like, that's probably enough to choke somebody there. 15 grand on just taxes, right? Yeah. So I know that they moved down there, and I know that they bought a house that's 3 times the value that they had there. Because why? Because they weren't paying $15,000 in taxes.
Right. Right.
So you want to pay taxes or you want to have a bigger house, right? One that's going to make you more money at the end of the day when you sell it or whatever you decide to do with it. Right. But stop throwing money away to the local government, if you will, because they can't run things properly.
Right.
It's
stop throwing it away to your landlord. Stop building their equity and build your own.
Yes. Let's talk about building our own financial house, right? That starts building that basement, that foundation, right? That's your credit. That's making your payments on time. That's not overextending your credit debt, right? That's making sure you're being a responsible adult. Okay. When you're at that level, then these things open up for you, right? Absolutely. And you focus on your credit. You focus on not being, I guess, complacent in your job. Always look to grow. Right? I mean, we're like a bunch of, I don't know, robots sometimes. You just kind of go through the same motion. If you don't like making $12 an hour, go find another stinking job.
Right.
You're not stuck in anything. Nothing worse than someone, making excuses. Stop that. We're adults now. It's time to step up and own your life, right? We're in charge of our own lives. We're in charge of our children. We're in charge of our own destination, our own destiny, and once again, our own legacy. So some of us choose to do it through real estate. Why? Because it's been proven. It's like gold, right? Gold's always going to be there. Gold is always going to be a backing of some kind for even currency, but you can touch it. It's all about what you can touch.
Exactly. And some of the most wealthiest people in the world, they started in real estate, buying and selling properties and investing. And because it's tried and true, bottom line is they're not making any more dirt. So as the country song says, buy dirt.
Buy sand.
Yeah, buy sand. Especially down here.
Sand. Get down in the sand, get by the beach where everybody wants to live.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to hang out down there. Okay, so I just want to cover a couple more things here before we wrap up for the day. I know you guys are busy. I appreciate your time. It's all about time management for us, juggling normally 10, 12 plates with just, a limited amount of fingers. So we always have a lot going on. But so my whole point is Baldwin County, fast and growing, sought after area. You saw the real estate, some beautiful homes. We do want to look at the last one here as we pull it up, some new construction. Once again, Cindy and her family been in real estate for, tons of years down on the beach. They're developers. They've developed some property themselves. This was part of their collection that I believe that now Brent Robinson and his crew are taking over. And but this is Phoenix Perdido that we're looking to start, pre-selling here one day soon. So,
they're
already pre-selling.
Yes.
Okay. So
they're
investors,
2.5.
Beautiful. Investors, people in my area, anyone that's got some money that's looking to find some beach property, this is a huge opportunity. You see that empty lot right there? That's where the
That's where
building's
it's
going.
going. Are there not any renderings of the actual
There are.
property?
He just needs to scroll down. If you've never experienced a
There.
Brett Robinson property, you're missing out. Just saying. This is actually, and there's some other renderings as well. Let me see the easiest place to find them. Oh yeah, you'll have to mute your computer, Mary. Stop the sound. Yeah, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's rendering.
Hey, can you click on that picture above there?
Yeah, you can click on the rendering. Hold on.
That's beautiful.
It is.
All right, Mary, can you scroll up? Mary, can you scroll up and hit the scroll on up, scroll on up, scroll on
There's
up,
a different floor
scroll on
plan.
right. It's right there. Can you press that picture? Just click on that picture right there. That'll stop that video.
It will
One more
pause the
time.
video, but it won't stop the video.
Really? All right,
Yes.
get that off there for us, Mary.
Yeah, you can close that window.
Woo! There we go. Wow. Okay. As you can see, I mean, this is a luxury condo complex here that's coming in. What a development! It's going to be amazing. And like I said, I mean, you see where this thing was sitting at. It is right on the beach, facing now, I guess what we refer to the Gulf of
Oh,
America.
Lord. Turn it up. Hold on.
Are you able to hear me?
Oh, there we go. Whew.
Did
Sorry
you
about
get
that,
it off
guys.
yours? Oh, you had it playing over there. But like I was saying, they're pre-selling now. We have a jumbo program for this. It's really truly a 40-year. So you've got a 10-year interest only, and then the remaining 30, you can make normal principal and interest payments and pay it off after those 30 years. So you can be aggressive, or you can just pay the interest only, let the property appreciate in value versus you really paying it down. But wow, this is going to be amazing. Are all these different bedrooms? You
Those
got
are
3
actually,
bedrooms, 2 baths.
yeah, they have 4-bedroom
4 and 4.
options. There's 28 4-bedroom options, ranging from 2,367 square feet to 2,427. For the interior units, there's going to be 2 6-bedroom, 7-bath penthouses that are going to be 3,867 square feet.
Beautiful. And if we got any
It's-
investors out there,
It is such a gorgeous property, and it is going to be amazing.
They are
Let's-
so well built. These,
They
yeah, these
Brett
are-
Robinson is amazing, and their complexes are just one of the best along here. I mean, really and truly.
yeah, if you're driving down along the beach down here, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, you're going to see a ton of buildings, projects, and I don't know how many Brett's actually done, but he's done a number of them down there. He's got a great reputation. He does great work. Um, at the end of the day, everything ends up being turnkey once he's finished with it. I mean, he does an
Absolutely.
amazing job on these proproperties.
He does.
And you'll see it. You'll see and they're all Phoenixes, most of them. You'll see
Yes.
the one that picture in my mind the most is kind of got the green glass foot. Is that the one
That's
the
Turquoise Place.
Phoenix turquoise place? So
Yeah,
wrong
that's not
complex.
a Brett property.
My bad. All right, so he has the Phoenixes down there,
Mhm.
and there's like Phoenix 1, 2. They're all like right there together, right?
Phoenix 1
I've been
through
in.
10, and then he has Phoenix Orange Beach, Phoenix Gulf Shore. Cindy, I feel like I'm missing one.
Oh, there's too many to name. There's stores. There's 1 through 10. Phoenix East, Phoenix
Yes,
West, Phoenix Gulf
Yeah,
Towers.
Phoenix East and West. That's it. Yep.
yes. So, like I said, you drive down there. You're going to see a a house a condominium that's been built by Brett and his team. So amazing stuff.
Robinson.
And these are actually going to be done when?
They are about a year and a half out. If it maybe not a year and a half out.
Okay, gotcha.
Their appreciation is on there. Like an appreciation for this unit is scheduled or thought to be 3-year growth from 1,200 square feet up to 1,250 a square foot. The rental income is estimated at 155,000 annually net. Lazy River, ample parking. Uh, it's going, yeah.
It's close
This
to the
thing
Gorgeous.
infamous
is going to
Alabama
be
bar.
being
Definitely
created was
gorgeous.
going to be very. It's going to be nice.
It is.
Four
It's
bed,
going to
all
be
of them are
Absolutely.
4 bedroom. Pardon me.
Yeah. Spacey.
Yeah, 4 bedroom resort style pools, and it's right there in Florida. And a lot of times people just think, well, it's in Florida, so I gotta have one. It's
And the
beautiful over
cool
there.
and the cool thing about this complex, there's only 30 units. It's low density. There's only 30
Yes.
units, and 2 of
Yeah.
those are
That
penthouses.
nice. Even better, right? Because everyone wants a little bit of. They want to be secluded. They don't want to be, piled up on top of each other. And that's one thing that I love about that area down there is that you can literally go on a beach, and I mean, people won't even be by you. I mean, 50 yards away, 100 yards away. You would think that
It's
the thing
it
would be just packed.
right. No, it's gonna be, and that she said it, the low density. It's going to be very
Yeah,
nice.
with opportunities like this to come in and invest and sit there on that property for the next 5 to 7 years
Mhm.
as once again this growth continues for this area. I mean, huge opportunities, tons in that
Absolutely.
area. All right, ladies. Well, I think we've looked at a lot of properties. We went through the home buying process. Talked about credit and how we're not going to let that stop us any longer. It's no longer an excuse.
That's good to know.
I have
Yeah, that's gonna be a big thing.
Yeah, I have Cindy. I have a credit team that works underneath me. It's really literally a couple clicks of a button. It goes to my credit team within 24 hours. My team will pull that credit report up. They will run all the what if questions. What if I
Yeah,
pay this off? What if I get a new account? What if I pay this down? How many points does this create for my score? They'll run all that for you, send you an email within 24 hours, step by step process. They'll call you to walk you through it, to make sure you understand it all, to make sure that you know how to get your credit fixed. Okay?
that's
Mhm.
Credit
one.
is no
That's
longer
one
an
thing.
excuse.
Sometimes it's so intimidating. Sometimes the fact that you take the time, Bill, to do that with especially these first time buyers or somebody to explain it because it's intimidating the
It
loan
Absolutely.
is.
process.
I agree. I appreciate that. So we try to take all the stress out of the whole process. It's
Mhm.
common that I say, you can't stress out unless I'm stressed.
Right.
Right? If I'm stressed, then you got every right to be stressed. But until then, breathe.
Mhm.
Okay. I know that the numbers keep changing. They're going to, all right, because they don't become final until the very end. So those people who like numbers, like myself, can't have anxiety over them, okay? Because
Nope.
I'm telling you, they're going to change, and they're going to change multiple times throughout the process. It's just the way the process is set up. But when I give you those estimated numbers, you go by those estimated numbers, and I promise you, when we get to the end and we compare the estimated numbers to your final numbers are going to be lower than what I estimated yet. Period. That's just the way it works.
Yep.
Okay. So you got your credit in place, you got your funds in place. You just need us to finish it off.
That's what we
Absolutely.
do.
That's it. That fixes things. Well, ladies, I want to thank you both for joining me today. It's been a great pleasure to speaking with you. I respect both of you.
Thank you.
Hands down, you're both bosses in what you do. I respect everything that you provide, all the information. Um, the knowledge that you guys have about that area is amazing. And I appreciate you both. I love doing business with you both. We've had some great customers as along the way. We've met some great
Absolutely.
people. We've got more people to help. Our boy Sam, thinking about you, Sam. Got to get you into a house,
Yep.
brother. All right, so we're going to solve Sam's problems as well as everybody else that's needing to purchase.
Okay.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Bill
Thank you,
Haga.
Bill.
I'm executive loan officer with Rocket Mortgage Local. Always stress local because we have local pricing. My local pricing is always a good 1% to 1.25% better than our call center in Detroit, Michigan. So don't call Detroit. Don't get online and fill out an application. Call me. My information's right here, Mary. If you could pull up our information again so people know how to contact us. My information's right there on the screen. You'll see Miranda's information and Cindy's. Make sure you take a picture of this so you've got it. And we will be your contact when you're looking to purchase in Baldwin County. Thank you again. I appreciate you, ladies. If you have any pre-approvals that you need done, please send to me. If you have any questions about anything, really, call me. My phone's always on. I'm here for you. Let's get some
Thank you, Bill.
pre-approvals and let's get some people under contract and let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Miranda,
You guys
Cindy,
have a great weekend.
Y'all have a wonderful
appreciate you
weekend.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.